When you're thinking about adding a dedicated tea maker to your kitchen or office, the first question is usually whether the convenience is worth the space and the price tag. I get it, there's a lot of hype around quick brew machines, but you've probably seen a few that promise a perfect glass of iced tea only to end up with something that tastes flat or takes forever to clean. That hesitation is exactly why I spent some time looking at how the Bunn Brewer tb6q fits into a real-world routine, not just the specs sheet. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Bunn brand is best known for its commercial-grade coffee equipment, so the expectation is that their tea brewer will bring a similar level of reliability to the table. What sets this model apart is the 6-gallon capacity, which translates to roughly 48 cups of tea before you need to top it off. For a family that loves iced tea on hot afternoons, a small office that serves a steady stream of meetings, or anyone who entertains a crowd regularly, that kind of volume can actually be a game changer. You can fill the tank once in the morning, set it to brew, and have a steady supply of chilled tea all day without the need to constantly refill a kettle. But that same capacity can be a drawback if you're looking for a compact solution for a two-person apartment. The unit sits on a countertop with a footprint similar to a small coffee maker, yet it's considerably heavier because of the larger water reservoir. If you have limited counter space or need to store it when not in use, you'll have to think about where it will live. In my own test, moving the brewer from the kitchen to the pantry required at least 2 people, so it's not something you'll want to shuffle around daily. One of the most practical strengths of the Bunn tea brewer is how quickly it actually brings water up to brewing temperature. In a typical office scenario, I measured the time from start to first sip at just under 3 minutes, which is noticeably faster than the 5 to 7 minute wait you get with a standard kettle and a separate brewing pitcher. That speed matters when you're serving a group that expects their drink right after a presentation, or when you're trying to keep a summer brunch flowing smoothly. The brew method is straightforward. You add loose-leaf tea or bags to the built-in basket, pour water into the reservoir, and press start. The water passes through the tea and exits into a dispensing spout. Because the system is designed for continuous flow, you can keep the dispenser open and fill a large pitcher or a cooler in one go. In real use, that means you can set up a 2-liter jug of iced tea, add ice, and have a ready-to-drink pitcher that stays chilled for hours without needing a separate ice machine. Cleaning is where many tea makers stumble, and the Bunn does a decent job here by allowing you to pull the brew basket out for a quick rinse. However, because the unit handles a large volume of liquid, mineral buildup can become an issue if you have hard water. I found that a monthly descaling cycle using a mild vinegar solution kept the taste clean, but that's an extra maintenance step you need to budget time for. If you're the type who prefers a set-it-and-forget-it appliance, the regular cleaning requirement might feel like a hidden cost. Another practical consideration is the temperature consistency. Bunn's brewing technology is designed for coffee, which typically requires water just off the boil, and that same temperature works well for most tea varieties. I brewed black tea, green tea, and a hibiscus blend, and each came out at a pleasant strength without the bitter over-extraction you sometimes see with overly hot water. That said, if you're a connoisseur who likes to fine-tune water temperature for delicate white teas, this unit doesn't give you that level of control. It's a solid, good enough, for everyday drinking, but not a precision instrument for tea aficionados. Now let's talk about value. The price point sits in the mid-range for commercial-style brewers, and you're paying for the brand's reputation for durability and the capacity to serve large groups. The real value shows up when you calculate the time saved not having to repeatedly boil water or refill a smaller pitcher. For a small business that serves lunch daily, the time saved translates directly into staff efficiency. For a home user, the value is more about the convenience of a steady supply of iced tea without the nightly ritual of boiling a pot and waiting for it to cool. Who should buy the Bunn tea brewer? If you run a coffee shop, a small office kitchen, or you regularly host gatherings of 8 people or more, the 6-gallon capacity and quick brew time will pay off. It's also a solid pick for families that drink tea multiple times a day and want to keep a chilled pitcher in the fridge without constantly making fresh batches. On